Good morning, everybody. All right, that works. Welcome to the Food and Beverage Industry Day, Pie World Gothenburg. My name is Kevin Geneva. I'm going to be your host for today. First, a little bit of housekeeping. Let's talk about what we're doing today. We have 3 speakers today, and then my intro talk. After I give a quick little introduction for 15 minutes, we'll have Isabel from Lanza, then Lawrence Morenz from Actemium, and followed by a couple speakers from Avibe. Have some great talks today. One thing I wanted to mention, we're only here, as you can see, until noon. So I would actually advise that everybody goes over to the Life Sciences User Group meeting after that for this afternoon to get some more great information. Also along those lines, we have our Life Science User Group meeting today, 1600 to 1730. This is a great place where we can ask industry experts questions. We can submit them ourselves. And if we can't make it, we are going to post these events to Pi Square, both the Life Sciences Group and the Food and Beverage Group. If you have any questions that you can think of beforehand, please feel free to submit them by going to slido.com, typing the hashtag LSPUG, and you can ask questions, get answers, and also vote on ideas. So it's a really cool collaborative space to be able to do this. I touched on this a little bit earlier, but I just wanted to plug Pi Square a little bit. It's a great online space for people in the food and beverage industry to come together. We have our own user group there. There's over 41,000 users worldwide. We post our industry asset-based example kits there. It's a good place to go ask questions and get answers. So I really highly recommend that you check out that space and follow it as well. Also going on today and tomorrow, we have our expo going on. So that's actually happening right now, and that'll be continuing on through this afternoon. And then tonight, hopefully everybody knows about this already, but across the street, that amusement park, we've rented it out, and so from 18:30 to 22:30, we definitely recommend that you go, have some fun. I'm definitely going to go on some roller coasters. I'll probably change first, though. So I hope you guys can join us there. It's going to be a really great time. But yeah, just follow the human arrows across the street. So with that stuff out of the way, I wanted to talk a little bit about the food and beverage industry and kind of the challenges that we're facing today. So to stick with the theme, it's kind of like we're today in a pressure cooker. There's changing consumer demands, things like gluten-free, things and organic are buzzwords in our industry, and a lot of consumers really want these, and it's placing a premium on being agile with our production. Margin pressures, the cost of commodities can go up and down. So, we need to make sure that we're using as little as possible in order to maintain our margins. The cost of capital. It'd be easy to produce new products all the time with all new equipment. But, that's not sustainable, and that's really, really expensive. So we need to figure out how to get the most out of the equipment that we already own. And then finally, food quality and food safety. Continuing along the safety lines, here I have 2 identical pieces of hardware. They don't look identical because the one on the right was in an environment with high vibration. For an oil and gas customer, this could mean very little to nothing at all. This could be a just-in-time catch. And they could be really happy that they found it before the asset, quote unquote, failed. But for a food and beverage customer, this could mean that the damage has already been done. If that material isn't on the screw, then it could be anywhere else within our product. I can't actually tell you what company this image came from. Main reason is because I don't know. Found the image online. I thought it was very interesting and could really speak to the use case. But it's kind of interesting. All of us in here are producers. But at the same time, we're also consumers. And if we knew which customer this came from, or which company this came from, and if it were, in fact, a food and beverage company, we'd automatically start to form opinions about that. So the risk of recall and all of that really has an impact on us as consumers and can do a lot of damage to our brand. So that's why, in my mind, maintenance really means more to the food and beverage industry. So we've heard a lot of buzzwords this week: Industry 4.0, IIoT, and smart factory. But however you classify it, really we've entered the digital age. And it's characterized by an explosion of data. And while we at OSIsoft believe that people with data can transform their world, I kind of challenge that a little bit and really see that humans need information. It's not just data that's important. I'll give you an example of the difference. 25, that's data. Here's an example of information. I was going 25 kilometers per hour over the speed limit, so now I have to pay a ticket. So there's a lot of difference between the two statements. One tells us a little, the other tells us the full picture. So while we have all this data, how do we use that as an opportunity? How do we get information out of our data? Well, I think it's very tempting to start thinking about point solutions and trying to buy one thing that does that one thing really, really well. So for me, I kind of like to think of it as printed out step-by-step directions from one place to another. However, I can't think of a single company whose goal is to buy as many point solutions as possible. As you start having more and more point solutions, you'll have to deal with the management of those systems, and you'll have to train the users on those systems, and there's a large total cost of ownership there. So continuing with the metaphor, that means more printed out copies, a method to store them, not to mention they're not very flexible. So if there's one road closure, the whole system kind of breaks down. Instead, what I would recommend is to use a data infrastructure, a way to empower people to find out answers to their questions. Again, continuing with the metaphor, this would obviously be a GPS-enabled device to tell you where you are and can tell you where you need to go at any point, and is flexible in case you take a wrong turn or there's a road closure. So the PI system is that data infrastructure. It empowers people to solve problems. And in this case, I can think of no fewer than 4 potential solutions to this problem. One piece may be doing quality system integration. If we see that the iron level is going high on one production line, that might tell us that something's going on. Condition-based maintenance. Something is happening with this asset. Obviously, it's undergoing high vibration. So the condition of that machine is going to be in need of repair. Calculating OEE for like assets. If we are comparing this to other assets that are working just fine, it should be easy to tell that there's an issue here because its OEE will be much lower than the rest of the fleet. And then finally, I said it was high vibration. Why not put a vibration monitor on this device? Traditionally, that's been very expensive to do, but with IIoT and edge data collection and empowered by the PI system, it's getting much, much easier to do. So really, that's just one of the business outcomes enabled by the PI system, but there are quite a few. And a lot of the talks today are going to deal with process productivity as well as quality and safety. But as far as productivity goes, changeovers, reducing that time in between batches is huge in getting more product out the door, as well as doing batch management and operational agility. Quality, keeping track of critical process parameters and being able to change them in time. A couple of our talks actually deal with that today. Energy efficiency, things like sustainability. That really helps us fight the cost of commodities. If we're using as little water and as little materials as possible and as little energy as possible, then we can ensure our margins. And then finally, asset health, keeping track of OEE, integrating with our quality, our asset systems and our maintenance systems, as well as doing condition-based and predictive maintenance on our assets. And so I'm happy to say that we have customer use cases in each one of these areas. Deschutes, Irish Distillers, and Hershey's when it comes to process productivity. Quality tracking being done by companies like Abbott and Tyson. Energy efficiency in the cases of Kellogg's and Heineken. And asset health with Tate & Lyle, as well as ADM. So really, once again, we believe that people with data can transform their world. And the one piece that gets lost in this statement quite a few times is the people part. And that's what today is really all about. It's people using data to ask questions about their process and to find novel answers. And really, it's about empowering those people to drive results. So once again, my name is Kevin Geneva. I'm a technical advisor for OSIsoft out of the Philadelphia office. With me, I also have Anna Bidot. She'll be helping out today as well. She's also an industry champion here out of the London office. But I think that's about all you guys need to hear from me.